See the green on the other side. I'm just doing this until that green shows up. And here we go. All right, guys, we got to do this real quick, man. We got a lot going on. My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Tim Black at Night. I got my friend David Cobb here, the campaign manager of Jill Stein and Jamu Baraka, and he has some information he wants to share with you. What's up, David Cobb? How you doing, brother?
Man, look, you know what? I'm doing well, but I have a good friend who used to say, personally, I'm doing fine, considering that I live in the capital of an empire that seems intent on destroying the planet and destroying any semblance of democracy that there is. Personally, I'm doing good. But right now, Tim Black, I'm in a fighting mood.
Why is that, David? What's up, man? Why do you feel like fighting?
Well, first of all, I'm pissed off that we have a proto-fascist taking the White House. I'm pissed off that a neoliberal was nominated by the Democratic Party. I'm pissed off at the corporate media completely delegitimizing Bernie Sanders during the Democratic primary, and then delegitimizing and ignoring Jill Stein and Jamu Baraka in the Green Party. I'm pissed off that what we're seeing is the ruling elite coming together around some sort of consensus where they say they're going to give Donald Trump a chance, as if the white supremacy that he represents has not already had a chance. So I'm pissed off about what is happening in this country, and I'm especially pissed off, and I'll tell your viewers about it. Literally, 10 minutes ago, I got news that the federal courts have denied our request to force an actual recount in the state of Michigan, and I'm especially pissed off because the 3 days of counting that we actually got done, we exposed electronic Jim Crow electoral injustice happening in the state of Michigan. And hey, guess what? It was happening in Detroit, it was happening in Lansing, it was happening in Flint. All of the places where this was happening were in the heavily black area. So you tell me, Tim, what is going on? Because I think I already know what's going on. I think what we're seeing is the fact that once again shenanigans take place. Once again, African Americans and people of color in general are thrown under the bus. And I'm going to name it. Once again, the Democratic Party is silent. And that's the reason I'm agreeing, Tim, because I'm tired of being silent whenever we see the earth being destroyed, when we see a racist, sexist, class oppressive society being created with the plunder, and then they use the elections to legitimize the theft. They use the court system to say, well, it's completely legal. Well, I'm here to say I'm not going quietly into that good night. I'm in a fighting mood, Tim Black. That's how I'm doing.
Wow, man, that you said a lot, brother. So many people have so many questions. I've been catching a lot of heat because I support the recount effort, because I support democracy.
Let's hit it, man. Let's hit it.
You know what I'm saying?
I came on thinking that we were going to actually go a little deeper on that. Then I had to. But Tim, you're a professor journalist. 10 minutes ago, the courts screwed us. So I'm putting that out there, but I am more than happy.
Now, what's their basis? What's their basis besides being complicit jackasses who are towing the line for Trump? What's their reasoning behind it?
Besides the reality? All right, I'll tell you actually what they said, because the Michigan State Court had said Jill Stein is not a, quote, aggrieved party because she couldn't have won the election anyway, so therefore no need for a recount. Now get this. You know what that means, Tim? That if Hillary Clinton had had the courage to demand a recount, it would be going on. If Hillary Clinton had actually joined or supported the recount, not only would the recount be happening, in addition to that, we would have the ability to force a forensic examination of those black box voting machines to be able to determine whether we can have confidence in the integrity of the election results. See, I had the same experience in 2004 in Ohio, right? But I guess I would say it this way. I'm happy to actually explain the rationale for why recounts are so important. I'm also happy to tell you what it is that we're learning from this process. But at the end of the day, the most important lesson, Tim, is when we fight, we can win. But if we don't fight, we're doomed. That's the bottom line. And I think that that's something that I hope that we learned during this Democratic Party primary when we saw what the ruling elite actually did around undermining Bernie Sanders and then undermining Jill Stein as well. That's how I see it.
I get it, man. I totally get it. My thing is, and it's always been from the beginning, David, that if we're going to challenge, challenging is not just about winning this election for Hillary or Donald Trump. I was trying to tell people I believe it's about reforming our freaking system altogether. Okay, that's what needs to be reformed. So I understand Trump supporters who may feel a certain kind of way about this. And Hillary, never Hillary's. I'm a never Hillary guy myself. I was, Bernie, then Jill, and it was always Jill, no Hill. So I understand that. But the point is, we have undemocratic elections. Don't
look here.
Get it,
Tim,
Dave.
let's be very clear about something. I see your shirt. I also voted for revolution, right? And I am an unabashed revolutionary because I know we have to transform the systems. We need new social, political, and economic systems, right? It's not enough to who cares like what individual is in office. What we have to do is actually build a mass movement of people who are dedicated to that transformational level of reform. And when it comes to elections, we have to be clear about something. We have the most fundamentally undemocratic elections anywhere in the global north in this country. And it starts with the fact that we don't count all the votes. But that's not the end of it. Let's be very clear. What you have is a system where black folk and brown folk are systematically disenfranchised by the use of a racist criminal justice system. You have a system of voter ID laws that are literally designed, and the neocons admit it's literally designed to prevent poor folk and black and brown folk from being able to vote. They admit it. But it's not just the voter ID laws, Tim. You also have a system in this country where folks feel like they have to vote against the candidate that they hate the most rather than for the one that they want. You've got a system in place where you do not allow alternatives to the system to appear on the ballots or the debates. You have a system of campaign finance laws that have turned our elections into auctions. You have a system in this country where the media literally decide who is going to be viable. And, so across the board, what we're talking about is a profoundly undemocratic system. But allow me for one moment to tell you what actual voting justice would look like. It's actually quite simple. Number one, we would need full publicly funded elections. Let's get all the money out of the elections. Union money, corporate money, billionaire money, whether it's George Soros or the Koch brothers. Get it all out. Publicly funded elections. Don't stop there. Ranked choice voting. So voters get to say my first choice, my second choice, my third choice. Have proportional representation. So if you're voting for Congress, that in a state where if 10% of the people vote for a candidate, they get 10% of the votes. That way everybody feels like they're being represented in our election system. It doesn't end there either, because we should have a citizens debate commission to make sure that alternative voices are actually heard. We should have a system of media where our public airwaves are actually used to have discourse and debate. And yes, there should be rigorous debate, but not these 30-second ads that are just full of fluff and BS, right? Absolutely. There's no discourse going on. There's no conversation about the difference between a fully privatized healthcare system or Obamacare or a full healthcare as a human rights system, right? I mean, what if we actually had those kind of conversations on public airwaves? That's the reason, Tim, and I'm not blowing sunshine up your ass. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons I'm always so excited about when I see your stuff is because I know you're reaching so many people with straight talk, because you're not actually dependent upon the corporate media's permission, right? Absolutely. You can actually say what you really think. Your guests say what they really think, and there's this kind of talk.
I love it, man. That's the only reason why we do it, man. But Dave, I got to ask you, man, and we got to get to this. Why Michigan? Why Pennsylvania? Why Wisconsin? Why those particular states?
So those three states, I want to be very clear. Jill Stein called me on Sunday before the harvest holiday, right? What is misnamed Thanksgiving, but I'm going to call it the harvest holiday. On Sunday, I was already in Texas, man. I was there to be with my family, right? And she said, David, I'm getting these reports. There are lawyers on the line. There are forensic experts. There are statisticians. There are folks who are looking at polling data. would you please come on a conference call with me and walk through this presentation? And what they showed us is first statistical evidence of, quote, anomalies. These 3 states did not look like what they were supposed to look like, what the polls predicted they would look like. Second, there were exit polls, right? So not just in advance, who am I going to vote for, polling that said who I just voted for, right?
Right.
And those historically have always been accurate until this election cycle.
Right. I've heard people, I've had a person on my show recently, Michael Tracy, a journalist who's written for Vice News and many others, and he was pushing back on that. And isn't it true that exit polling is how we determine if countries throughout the world have actually democratic voting procedures or not?
The U.S. election this year would not have passed muster by the United Nations when they send election observers. It's even more like Jimmy Carter at the Carter Center, who actually goes in addition to the United Nations, would not have come into these elections because our bare minimum of how they work do not meet their threshold for them to even be willing to validate elections. So that's how bad our system is, Tim. So they gave us all of these the statistics, not statistical anomalies in different pockets, polling data and exit polling data, but it didn't end there. For me, the most chilling thing came when a computer expert began to break down how the optical scanners work and these black box voting DREs work. And then he showed us a video where his folks literally got their hands on reverse engineered and then showed how a reasonably competent cyber or computer expert could change the results. Somebody asked him on that call, are you telling me that that these machines can be hacked? And he said, absolutely yes. He said, and listen to this, if I or any of my brightest PhD students wanted to steal an election, we could do so. So the point is, we don't know exactly what happened. We know this, that like over half of the country, there is no reason to have confidence in the reported results. So
Okay.
we chose those 3 states because experts came to us and said, this is not what was supposed to happen. And the only way that we can actually have confidence in these results is to demand a recount as allowed under law.
So we need to make that clear to people that the Stein Baraka campaign, they were approached by people who had done the research already. These are the states that they noticed the problems in. They noticed abnormalities, anomalies, you put it, and you did not go hire people to go look at these states.
Oh,
but
no.
this is the work that was already done.
I was going home, man.
Right,
I had worked my butt off.
but people don't freaking get it, David. They think, oh, well, you're targeting these states with some deceptive maneuver or something. So we want to make that clear. Other people are concerned about splintering of the Green Party. They fell in love with the Green Party, and now they're seeing dissension over this election. What does that look like to you, David? What do you say?
Look here. I would say this. Argument, even heated argument, ought to be welcome about how we should proceed. So I think that the recounts are actually a good idea, and let me tell you why. Because in 2004, I, as the Green Party presidential nominee, demanded recounts in Ohio and New Mexico because of the same thing, all these reports, and there's Representative John Conyers actually held hearings, and there's a phenomenal book that I'm quite well I'm prominent in called What Went Wrong in Ohio. And I could go down the litany of things. But here's what, just by demanding recounts, efforts in Ohio and New Mexico happened in 2004. Number one, we stopped the proliferation of those DRE machines, right? Because going up into that, remember 2000, the hanging chads, the antiquated paper ballots, everybody's, oh, that's terrible. So the Congress created the Help America Vote Act and made hundreds of millions of dollars available to the states to, quote, update their equipment. Well, almost all of them were going for these newfangled computer touch screens, right? Well, we were able to stop the use of those machines by what we exposed in the Ohio recount. And in that recount, we also sent not one but 2 election officials to jail in Cuyahoga County in Cleveland for fraud, election fraud. Not voter fraud, election fraud. There's a big difference, right? Voter fraud almost doesn't exist in this country. You have to look, it's a needle in the haystack to find it. Election fraud is different. That happens all the time. I can get into that if you want to. But here's the other thing that happened. We provoked a, quote, top to bottom review of the entire election system in the state of California that terminated with the abolition of those DRE machines. They're illegal in the state of California because of the hell we raised in Ohio in 2004. They're illegal in Maryland. In addition to that, in New Mexico, where Green Party member Rick Lass, who is right now in Wisconsin helping in the recount effort, he had a phrase. He said, litigate, then legislate. And in New Mexico, they abolished the DRE machines. And 2 years later, because he kept at it, they instituted a mandatory audit of every election, a robust audit that said, no, win, lose, or draw, we do the election results. Then we do an audit of 5% of all of the ballots just to make sure that our statistics work. And, you know, it's so an auditing procedure. And it doesn't stop there, Tim, because 2 years later, thanks to Rick Lass and Greens in New Mexico, they were able to institute a mandatory state-funded audit recount provision. Any election that is won by 0.5% of the vote or less at the state level or any state legislative race goes to an automatic recount and nobody has to pay for it. It's triggered. It is just part of the process of verifying the results. See, and you know why all that happened? Because we, the Green Party, filed a recount in Ohio, we litigated, and then we legislated afterwards after we exposed all these problems. So here's my challenge. I know, and I hope you've been covering the incredible electoral Jim Crow that was revealed both in Michigan and in Milwaukee, and again, in Wisconsin too. Oh, how about that? In Milwaukee, where all the black folk live, right? I mean, it's just amazing that, you know, that it's an obvious disgrace about what we're actually seeing here. So my challenge to all of your viewers is, first of all, get educated. And then when you get educated, get pissed. And then after you get pissed, then get active. Join us in helping to build a democracy movement in this country, because that's what we desperately need.
David, correct me if I'm wrong. A source tells me that the number of votes were handed in, I think it was Michigan, I could be wrong, where people voted, but the slips came back as no vote. Like, people went out and voted, but for whatever reason, it's a blank vote.
That actually happened in Detroit, in Lansing. How about that? And tell me again where the black folk live.
That's Detroit, Lansing, the places you just mentioned.
That's all I'm saying. That happened. Let me tell you another thing that happened. 75,000 people decided to go and vote, but not even bother to cast a vote for president.
That's
what? It. Oh, and what was the percent? Now, that sometimes happens. They're called undervotes. The statistician said that is at least 10 times higher than it should have been. We didn't get to count those because the Republican Michigan courts squashed us. I'm just telling you, Tim, what we're seeing is an absolute disgrace, and what we're seeing is the courts used to delegitimize efforts to fight back. So I want to say again, I respect that there are people who did not think that the recount was the best use of time or energy. I disagree.
Or money.
But all I would say is,
David, or money. Everyone, you know, they want to bring up that $7 million, even though Hillary spent $500 million on her campaign. No one talks about it. But you get $7 million to Jill Stein for a recount, and it's like, oh my God, people's hair is on fire.
Well, the thing is, too, is like, look, those people gave money for a recount, right? It's just that simple, right? They literally gave money for a recount. Like that money could not have been raised for any other reason. The other thing I really want to underscore here is that we are building a movement here. And I believe that everybody supports election integrity except for the people stealing elections. And we ought to stop that, right? We ought to stop that. Whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Green, Libertarian, Independent. Like, if we can't have confidence in the elections, why bother? But here's the other thing. For those Greens who did not think it was a good use of time or money, then don't give money. Don't give time. I would ask respectfully my sisters and brothers in the Green Party who don't want to participate in the recount, then at least don't try to throw me under the bus, right? At least let me and Jill and do you know that we have mobilized over 10,000 people that are actually observing these recounts right now? I mean, we did that on a dime, Tim. What I'm telling you is there is a tremendous thirst and hunger. And also, Jill Stein was trending number 2 Monday. Oh, by the way, we did a press conference in front of Trump Tower calling him out. What are you afraid of, Donald Trump? You said that you were the one who said that this election was going to be stolen. Let's actually count the votes. Every vote counts. Count every vote. And here's the thing. When I say I am in a fighting mood, I think the Green Party's in a fighting mood. You see the Democratic Party leadership are all playing nicey nice with Donald Trump and, having these meetings and so forth. I'm not playing nicey nice. I'm here to say we need to be oppositional, right? We have to understand that Donald Trump represents something very dangerous. People of color, immigrants, Muslims, LGBT people, women, poor people are under attack. And the policies that are about to be coming out of this Trump presidency are going to double down on those attacks. We've got to stand together and fight. We've got to unite and fight. And I'm going to say it, Tim, I'm not fighting to save this dying system. I'm fighting to create a new system. Like your shirt, I'm a revolutionary, a nonviolent revolutionary for the FBI viewing this recording later. But I am a revolutionary. And I know you are too, and I know your viewers are. So I'm going to ask you, because I got to jump onto this legal call to see about an appeal. Right. I'm going to ask you this. Please, regardless of this recount thing, join your local or state Green Party. Because this Green Party is what we need to build a movement for peace, justice, democracy, and ecology. The Democrats have shown us time and time again that they are not going to be the vehicle for the progressive change that we need. Alternative political parties have always been where real revolutionary ideas come. The Green Party represents that today.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, David, for making time.
Hey,
good luck on the call. I'll talk to you, brother.
Again.
You know it, man.
Let's do it again.
You got it, brother. Get up for my man, David Cobb, y'all. Peace, brother. I got you. Let me let Dave go real quick, guys. There we go. All right, David. All right, guys, I'm sorry about that Facebook. For some reason, the audio wasn't working from the Skype, and I don't know if I've ever let you guys listen to a Skype conversation on Facebook Live. But how you guys doing? Welcome to the show. All right, welcome to the show. Dave, he had a call to go into like right after this. We were going to be longer. Last time we talked for an hour. But there's a lot going on. Just released today, this evening, federal judge agrees to end presidential recount in Michigan. And like I said, I was told by sources that there are a number of votes. We're talking tens of thousands of votes where people actually went out and voted. Let me repeat that, guys. Tens of thousands of people went to vote. And for some reason, the presidential box is unchecked. Now, who do you know? All right? Come on. Who do you know who took the time to go out and vote, decided, nah, I don't care about voting for Hillary or Trump or Jill Stein or Gary Johnson? Now, I know people who stayed home, guys. I can't name a single person that I personally know who I've run in contact with who went through the effort of going out to vote and voted but left the presidential selection blank. Folks, this is what I've been told, has just been confirmed here by David Cobb. That is one of the anomalies. Now, to some, and I want to make this clear, guys, and I know people are going to be mad and angry. That's fine. If you don't love me by now, if you don't like me, you don't care for me, and if you can't disagree with me without unsubscribing or changing your donation or changing your friends list, well, that means we never were friends. That means you never respected me. We can disagree without it becoming toxic. Okay, here's the thing, guys. I want justice. I want the right things to be done, right? I want justice. I want the process to be fair. I want justice, that's all. I'm not here to support Trump or Hillary, right? I voted for Jill Stein. I make that very obvious. I don't think this recount effort was going to make Jill Stein the president. That's not why I supported it. I support it because I just want justice. I want to know what happened to tens of thousands of votes. I want to know what Greg Palast talked about in his latest movie, about people all of a sudden this redistricting and cross-districting and cross-voting and cross-checking and all this other. I want to get to the bottom of this stuff. People have been talking to me about it since Philly. Okay, people have been talking to me about it since Philly, since the DNC. And I just want to know, guys, do you care about a Democratic election, or are you just worried about Hillary getting in? You know, you have to have principle. I have principle. My only principle is justice. That's it. I don't want her in the office, but I want justice. I want this count to be right. I want people's votes to count. And if I don't stand on that, maybe, you know, as a person who's in a leadership capacity, you know, I'm not MLK, I'm not, you know, Gandhi, any of that, but a person in a leadership capacity should stand on ethics. And if I think something is rigged, which Trump said it was rigged, right? I think it should be examined. I don't understand why people have such a problem with that. Oh, Tim, they're wasting money. They're giving money to this. They shouldn't be giving money to it. My thing is this, guys. People give money to stuff all the time they shouldn't give money to. Wouldn't we agree on that? Can we agree on that? This is actually something that's going towards elections. Not going to buying, I don't know, spinning wheels, spinning rims, or to I don't know, get your hair done in some crazy style, or I don't know, you know, there are other things we spend money on. You know, this right here, to me, though I can understand you saying you don't want to spend your money on it, I wouldn't call it a scam. I wouldn't call it a scam. I repeat, guys, if there was nothing to be found, and if you believe that, then I don't think you're really paying attention to how dirty our system is. That's what I believe. Now, I'm sure everyone else, I'm sure all of you, you know, people have different opinions, and we're all entitled to our opinions. Just know that my opinion is rooted in the information that I've been given about tens of thousands of people in states, predominantly African-American, whose votes were not counted. Not counted. The slip goes in, and out comes no vote. I repeat, it makes no sense. Now, maybe someone can explain to me why tens of thousands of black folks, Latinos, in urban areas specifically went to the voting booth, voted, but decided not to vote for Hillary Trump or Jill Stein or Gary Johnson. If you can explain how that happened tens of thousands of times, then hey, then I'll shut up. I'll apologize to you. I'll say you got it right. I got it wrong. I screwed up. I made a mistake. But until someone can make that, you know, make me understand that, I got a problem with it. That makes sense? That makes sense to you, Facebook? I hope it makes sense to you. Wow. This is kind of crazy. Let me see what's going on here. All right, hello? Okay, so this is working. So I wonder why I wasn't, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe I didn't have it all set up correctly for a Skype call to go through my speakers. I think that's all it was. So what do you think, Facebook people? You know, like, YouTube, what do you think? You know, am I crazy? Are you crazy? Is the whole system crazy? Here's another thing. And this is something else a source told me, okay? A source said in some of the inner cities across this country, the voting machines are so old, they're antiquated, they are broken, the maintenance has not been performed on those machines. Not everything that I'm talking about or what are that are a part or should be a part of us examining has to do with cyber hacking. Not everything. Some of it is mechanical. If you got a soda machine that's been sitting in a warehouse for 4 years, untouched, It's possible when you go plug it up, it won't work correctly, right? Don't you think that's within the realm of reason? If so I'm also adding that into. There are also issues with the equipment itself not being tended to in certain areas. And I don't think those certain areas that are neglected, where the maintenance was not performed on the election balloting machines, I don't think it was by accident. I don't think someone was like, oh yeah, that's right, we got an election coming up. I wonder what machines we should not tend to. I'm not naive like that. Call me a conspiracy nut if you want, but I'm just saying, that doesn't happen in Beverly Hills. Maybe it does. I don't know. Let me know. I don't know what happens in Beverly Hills, but I know I'm getting reports that in certain areas of the inner cities, predominantly poor areas, urban areas, there are machines that have been sitting that don't work, that were put in place that did not work. So not everything is about a cyber hack. Some of it is about just old machinery that I feel that it was on purpose left there to not function correctly. And then you add in all the other stuff too. But as it stands right now, Judge Mark Goldsmith acted Wednesday night, a day after the state appeals court said the Green Party candidate isn't eligible to seek a recount on millions of votes cast on November 8th. Early Wednesday, the Michigan Elections Board said the recount would end if Goldsmith extinguished his earlier order. It was Goldsmith's midnight ruling Monday that started the recount in Michigan, but his order dealt with timing, not whether a recount was appropriate. More than 20 counties so far are recounting ballots, and some are finished. The state appeals court said Tuesday that Jill Stein doesn't qualify as an aggrieved candidate under state law because she got only 1% of the Michigan vote and can't win with a recount. Stein is appealing to the Michigan Supreme Court. So here's the deal, guys. Every election, they say, every election, without fail, they tell you, this is the most important election of our lifetimes. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. Well, you know what? The next 4 years, when it's the most important election of your lifetime, and the same thing happens. See, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. Some of you are not going to change your screen names. I'm not going to change my name. I'm still going to be Tim Black, right? 4 years from now, when they're running and you're seeing it, the same thing play out. I want you to remember some of the people who were not only silent, but also condemned others for questioning the system. So there are people not questioning the system now because they like the outcome. In my opinion, that's not justice. You don't say it's cool because we won. We got the outcome we wanted, so whatever, you know what I mean? Hey, man, I got $20, you broke. It's all good. Came out the way I wanted it to come out. That's not justice. Justice is it being done the right way. And that's what I'm for. And I got a feeling that most of the people that I know, that most of the people that follow me, most of the people that support what I do, most of the people that are watching this show, they want justice too. They don't want to be a party or part of some toxic, dirty, seedy, scandalous, undemocratic backroom or, scheme. I know you don't. Because you just want what's right. That's what we all fight for, I hope. We want what's right when someone gets shot. We want, if that officer acted inappropriately, we want justice. If that land is sacred land, if you haven't done the studies required to determine what the impact on the environment could be, we want that done. We just want justice. If you have a treaty with these people who are a sovereign nation, we just want justice. We just want you to respect the treaty. That's all. And if you're that way across the board, it's always an easy call for me because I just want justice. It's only when you start adding in things that you personally have a bias towards where it goes off the rails a little. You know? And when we start doing that, I feel like that's where we get into trouble. That's where we get all this division because people are not just looking at just wanting the right thing to be done, just wanting justice. Did he have to shoot? Was he in fear of life or death? Was he shooting to save his life or someone else's? Was he in imminent danger? No. Go to jail. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion that person was you shot. None of that. Just go to jail. Period. But then people start adding stuff. Well, you know, black guys are scary, or you know, all these Muslims are doing this, and you know, this is, people start throwing in their biases. I try not to do that. So anyway, I implore you. I'll hope for us all to not demonize one another, but some of us got to change the way we look at stuff, man. I hope. So, look, guys, on Facebook, guys, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see the video with audio. We started like bam, and we just started the show. Please go to Tim's Take Live or Progressive News with Tim Black. If you go to YouTube and put in Tim Black, you will find my YouTube channel, and that will show you shortly. You'll be able to see the video. It'll post once it's finished being processed live from YouTube. It'll be up tonight. And I want everyone to tune into it and leave your comments. I wish I had more time with him to discuss this. And it's because it's a hyper issue. I've said enough. I don't know all the facts. I just know how I feel about justice. That's it. I'm not here to unseat Trump or install Hillary. Not at all. You know, I just want to know, and I would like to know if my vote counted. Because I don't trust him. Sorry, I just don't trust him. You know, I don't even know if my Bernie vote counted from the primaries. You know, because it's so shady. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even know if my vote counted for the primaries. Everything is so screwy. Everything is so tainted by the lies and deceit that we've been uncovering over this year, man. Like, I don't trust nothing. I mean, if someone gave me change for $1, I would recount it. You know, because that's where I'm at now. Be like, hold on. Don't go nowhere. Hold on, man. 25, 35. Will you move? Why you walking towards the door, man? Hold on. 45, 65, 75. Hold. 85. I mean, I would be like that. I don't trust people right now. Not when it comes to elections. Not when there's money involved. Not when it comes to elections. Not when they got something to win or to gain. All right, guys. Very short show tonight, but I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let me shut up and let this video go up. Let me share it. It's great to have someone else's take on it, and that's it. All right, Facebook Live. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry for the audio problems once again. I wasn't sure I could even do a Facebook Live. Do a Skype call and have you hear it, and evidently we can't. You're correct about justice, Tim. Thank you. I try. That's all I want. That's it. You know, in fact, guys, the way I look at it, YouTube, Facebook, I want to unite the people against a common goal, a common enemy. And this is the prime opportunity for me to do so. I would be able to unite people against Hillary or Trump. So either way, I'm still in the same business. Because I'm against the establishment. Whoever that person is in the establishment who's conducting business as usual, which is the only reason why I could even imagine why Hillary didn't contest this herself. Okay? Is that somehow Trump must be complicit? But they're like, well, you know, it's going to be all right because, you know, we trust Trump to do what he's going to do or something. If Trump is such a grave danger to everything in the United States, right? Why aren't the Democrats, the party, not single people, not singular singular individuals voting, not Democratic people who are part of the Democratic Party, but why isn't the establishment Democrats fighting back at the electoral process if they're so afraid of Trump, if there are anomalies? I'm just saying. Makes one wonder how dangerous Trump really is. Or is he a part of the team as well? Now, that causes controversy, and I'm fine with that. That's one of the questions I have, and maybe you guys can help me answer it. So please, put that in the comment section if you can, and I'll see you on the next one. What a whirlwind, huh? It's crazy. James Edwards, thank you for tuning in. Barbiella, thank you for being here. It's crazy. I need something to drink. And I'm still fighting this bug that's in my throat at this point. YouTube, Campsey Grothendijk, Jojo Graz, the whole crew. No music tonight, y'all. Just some cough drops, some tea, and some honey. All right? I just think things, guys. You know how I do. I see you guys tomorrow, though. I'll be back to fight again. And I hope that you will join me. Let's keep fighting for truth, baby. I got your back. Gosh, guys, I can't stop coughing. My name is Tim Black. Welcome to Tim Black at Night. I got my friend David Cobb here, the campaign. I can't stop coughing. YouTube, thank you for tuning into the show tonight, guys. Look, I'll have David back at a better, more opportune time. This just released tonight. It's a storm of legalities that need to be dealt with on the campaign. I'm glad he didn't just cancel. I appreciate Dave's respect that, to holler at me and to at least give me what he could in the short window of time that we had. He did tell me before we went on that he only had like 25 minutes. He had to jump on a call. He got buzzed twice while we were on the air. So respect to David Cobb for doing it anyway. Pushing back a little and then, that's good, people. And there you go. So, look, guys, go to TimBlackTV.com. You know how to reach me, right? Tim@TimBlackTV.com. I don't hide. I'm right there. You need to contact me, do so. Just know it may take a while for me to get back to you. I got a lot of points of contact. We got DMs on Twitter. We got Facebook messages. We got personal email. We got personal Facebook page. We got, all these ways, these methods. So it takes me a while to do all the circles, to make the rounds across all the ways that I can be contacted. Shout out to all my Patreons that support this channel, who believe in justice, who want truth, who also want the news told in a different way. Without a lot of spin, without people just having these biases and just leaning certain directions that suit their fancy or suit their corporate sponsors. So thank you so much, guys. You know who funds me. That's you guys. I voted for a revolution. I know you did too. I see you on the next one. I see you tomorrow. Please go watch all my content. I got 2 videos I put out today. I did my best to deliver it straight to you. So please check those out and share them if you can. And, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. That's it. Now, I'm going to leave it there. I've done enough talking over the last couple days. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. And if you aren't outraged, you aren't paying attention. Peace.